This interview is part of the History Heard project. The content of this interview may be used for historical research. However, no part of the video itself may be reproduced without the express written permission of an authorized representative of History Heard or Ana Paula Pessoa. Today is October 26th, 2019 at 6:47 p.m. This is an interview with Ana Paula Pessoa in Rio de Janeiro, Rio de Janeiro. She was born on March 25th, 1967 in Rio de Janeiro, Rio de Janeiro. So, in your role as CFO of the 2016 Rio Olympics, what did your day-to-day life look like?
First of all, thanks for the interview, and I'm very happy to be able to contribute to you guys. Day to day, I had to sit in meetings to organize the budget and organize the budget of every single venue, and we had to align financial capacity and make sure the donors were donating and make sure the tickets were being sold and all the contributions and the organization of the TV and the radio and the news were aligned, and organize also the legal. I also took care of the legal concerns, so we had to change different laws in order to change traffic on the days of the events. We need to clear, get authorizations for drones to be flying over venues. So we did. Being CFO of the Olympics entails organizing 44 national world championships simultaneously. So it's a very crazy enterprise.
How did you come to obtain this role in such a massive event?
This is actually really interesting, and it's something that I recommend for all you guys. Is really go after your goals. So many years, you know, when the Olympics was starting to be built in Brazil, I mentioned that I was interested in working for the Olympics, but it was not quite the time. I was running my company, and I had a company that did search and recommendation for e-commerce sites, and we were launching it, and it was just not time. But I mentioned to a couple people that I would be interested in working for the Olympics. I'm from Rio. I was born in Rio, and it was such an incredible event. So on March 2015, this one friend of mine said, "Oh, you know, there might be a position as the CFO of the Olympics." I said, "Well, you know, I'm actually in the process of selling my company, and we had received a bid for the company." And I said, "I can't do it right now, but maybe." And in August, I ended up selling the company, and it was a huge success. And then on September 1st, I started working there. So I think that my big recommendation would be for you to make sure you mention anything that you are interested in doing, because you never know. It can take some time, but you never know. This position could be offered to you in the future. So go after your dreams.
Okay. As a mother of two and a wife, how did you manage to balance such a busy workload with your personal life?
This is also always a huge issue, especially for women that do have to balance family and work activities. But more and more, especially in Brazil, men are helping working women, and I happen to have a very supportive husband, and my kids were already, large enough, and I don't think they need all my help all the time, or they want all my help all the time. But as I was working to get to that point, I think that I was helped. I had help, family, my husband, and the kids enjoyed having a mother that worked. And I hope at least, that they felt proud of me at some point.
Okay. Since the event solely dealt with sponsorship from the private sector, could you speak to some of the advantages and setbacks of doing so?
A big advantage of only working with private sector money is that you are free to run the business as you would like, and not according to any political requests. And I think that this was very important to us. If you remember, 2016 was a very chaotic moment for Brazil. So Dilma, our president, was impeached in the middle of the preparation of the games. For the opening night, we weren't sure who was the president. The president was an interim president, so it was very confusing. So when you are a private company, you don't suffer from political requests, and we were able to run a spectacular show. But it's not easy, and most of the Olympics are co-financed by the public sector. The public sector, in our case, helped a great deal in some of the issues, such as security, the stadiums, the big stadiums, the authorizations, and a number of different issues that the government was extremely helpful to the Rio Games. However, they did not contribute financially to the execution of the events themselves.
Okay. It is undeniable that the Olympics left a massive social and economic legacy for Rio. When planning the games, was this something you frequently considered, and how did you?
For sure, especially because we were setting up this massive event in Brazil. And Brazil is still a developing country, and we have a great deal of inequalities. And to be spending so much money in infrastructure was very difficult. So one of the major things that we did is that every single thing that we used for the Olympics was donated back to the city. So all the sheets and all the towels and all the electrical fixtures, everything was donated back to the city or to the state or to the federal government. So the legacy of the Olympics, aside from all the infrastructure that was built in Rio, was left to the city. There were some stadiums that were built thinking of being used as schools in the future. So that too was used and left to the city and to the state, and primarily. But we had emergency. We left a whole hospital that was set up by one of our sponsors, and we left to the state. So I think that this is a very important issue. Aside from the fact that during the games and during the organization of the games, over 100,000 people worked, and plus all the indirect people. So in the year 2015 and 2016, Rio de Janeiro itself did not feel such a recessive period as the whole country was feeling, because a lot of people were working in the Olympics. So we generated a lot of employment, and then we counted with over 40,000 volunteers during the games. And I think that everyone who participated was very proud of the whole organization.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome.